back to my channel. Today I am on my way to the chiropractor with my mom, Zuri, but as you can see,
She's resting.
she's asleep right now, and then Marley. So yeah, that's where we're heading right now. Show you what it's like if you've never been to a chiropractor. It's not so bad, but sometimes it's a little much, right? You would know.
Just a little bit. You take in, but it's all good stuff. It's all beneficial. It feels so much better when it's all finished.
Right.
So sleep better, feel more relaxed and balanced.
Has a lot of good benefits, a lot of good health and mental benefits. As for what types of benefits I've had from going to the chiropractor, as a college student, always sitting down and studying or working out, I work out a lot. I find after my sessions, like at the chiropractor, I feel a lot lighter and I can go to sleep easier. So I find that helpful. And I feel more aligned, like my spine and neck, because I have had problems with my neck from looking down, at my phone or at my computer, because I edit a lot, and yeah, carrying my backpack, and because I carry a lot of things because school. So yeah, makes me feel lighter. Yeah.
What about you? What do you like about the chiropractor?
What I liked about the chiropractor is that it helps with my posture, so I won't have my neck all out. It can be sitting straight up, and won't have any difficulties with anything. And yeah, especially carrying your backpack with a lot of school stuff in there can really hurt your back and your spine.
Let me ask you about your emotions. Do you feel more balanced after in your how you feel? Feel less stressed or less anxious, or
I feel less anxious.
it's helpful for emotional health as well.
Right.
For stress or anxiety or depression or fears, overwhelmingness, a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. See you when we get there. Oh yeah. Okay, there it is. Chiropractic. Let's go in. Oh, bless you. Here we are. Hero Chiropractic. Dr. Jermaine Ware. Visit his website. Here we are.
Come and see.
There's Anna.
How you feeling, Naya?
Good.
Feeling good?
Mm-hmm.
You are going to be in a documentary.
Documentary.
Or a vlog.
What are you
Hi, Dr.
vlog-
Ware.
What are you vlogging about?
I know. What are we talking about?
This is my chiropractor.
Huh?
I'm doing a vlog for YouTube about going to the chiropractor.
Oh.
She's got a YouTube channel.
Well, you gotta have a chiropractor, you know.
Well, we can go.
Maybe he needs to say something.
Yeah.
He's ready. He's camera ready.
Why is it important?
Let me get out of the way.
You want to hear? I'll show you. We can come in here. I'll show you a couple of things. So we're talking about a lot of stuff that's happening these days with teenagers and phones, and we're text messaging all day, right? So we're looking down. So when we're looking down, what it leads us to is a de-evolving process. We start here. This is a proper posture with your head over your shoulders. your ears over your shoulders. And then you move forward, we'll see this little anterior where it's like the ears will be over the shoulders. That's where a lot of people are today. And what that's leading to is a situation like this, because when you have your head over your shoulders, you start to round your back, and the more you round your back, the more you end up in this type of posture. Creates all sorts of issues, lower back pain, when you're dealing with your neck, having headaches, migraines, all that type of stuff. So you have all those things that come into play, and then before you would get to this type of posture leading to a wheelchair. That's a de-evolving process. So that's just from the outside. On the inside, however, there's something much deeper happening. We look at the spinal cord, and you have more than 50% of the neurons are proprioceptive. So that's like your brain, the brain battery, right? So that's what charges your brain up. So all these things in red are when this is not being charged properly. So that when your spine is not moving, you have all these different things that are happening. Your learning centers, so your hippocampus is fired up, and you can't really learn properly. You have a lot of stress and anxiety in your life. You have a lot of things going down this what we call the HPA axis, and that's sending us to this adaptive physiology stage, which I'll get to in a second. But when you have proprioception, which is that good movement, when you get adjusted, you stimulate your spinal cord, right? So you're stimulating that spinal cord. It's canceling out all these stress relay centers, making all these great things happen in your spine and happen in your nervous system. So key here is that you only receive like 50 bits of conscious information like per second, but your brain receives over 3 trillion bits of information per second, but you're only aware of 50. So there's a lot happening underneath there that you just don't know about. But back to this one over here, we're talking about this adaptive physiology. So people always want to know this: how does chiropractic relate to stuff that's happening on the day-to-day that most people do or don't know about? We're talking about cortisol, increasing catecholamines, increasing insulin. So that's what all these things start to increase. The red leads to that adaptive physiology, and here we are. So this increase in cortisol down-regulates insulin. That's gonna put you in a situation of promoting stress hormones. And from these two, just go with increasing increasing cortisol. What we end up with is kind of these things out here on the edge. So for men, talking about ED, talking about increasing allergies, asthma, acne, colds and flus are more prevalent, cholesterol problems, atherosclerosis, or like heart disease, and then of course cancer. Now we look on this other side with insulin being increased. We're dealing with, end result, obesity, increased rate of aging. So people are wondering, I feel like I'm looking old. Yes, you are, because it's an increased rate of aging. Type 2 diabetes, that means you're going to have a slower healing process. You talk about osteoporosis, of course, with knee, joint pain, congestive heart failure, hypertension. You have all these things, and that's just from those two. Then we get to this increase in catecholamines, which is a big one, because a lot of people don't regulate their stress very well. So we end up with situations like ADD, ADHD, depression, decrease in sex drive, increase in stress and anxiety, fibromyalgia. These are all things that are correlated in our lifestyle that we deal with on an everyday basis that we could redirect when it comes to proper spinal movement. All right, so the other one that I want to go over is when there's some sort of nerve interference. A lot of people are not familiar with chiropractic to the point where they know what it's actually affecting. So when there's nerve interference in your spine, this graph here gives us an idea of like where on the chart we are, like our upper cervical area. That's like up here, C1 to 3, lower cervical area down here, upper back, mid back, lower back, and then down here by your hips. Okay. So there's the primary and secondary functions in each of these areas. There's tissues, organs, and glands associated with it, and then there's possible symptoms from those having interferences, those areas. Big one here is the autonomic nervous system, which is like your digestive system. And then we look at the vagus nerve in terms of tissues, organs, and glands. The vagus nerve is the major nerve that goes basically from your brainstem. It goes from your brainstem So it goes from your brainstem basically all the way down to your gut. So you have that's a major one there. And then possible symptoms when there's interference there. You're talking about headaches and migraines, ADD, ADHD again, speech issues, difficulty sleeping, chronic fatigue, vertigo and dizziness, vision and hearing issues, high blood pressure. See a lot of people with high blood pressure with those issues there. We work up here in this area. All of a sudden, the high blood pressure is no longer an issue. So we have that. And then as we move down, other areas in here, stiff neck and shoulders and the upper back, heart conditions in that upper back area. Let's see, blood sugar problems here in the mid back, excess stress and cortisol in the lower back, and then there are some bedwetting issues that can happen, and then there's infertility. That's a big one there with a lot of women, and then we move down here with a lot of younger kids. They may have some bladder issues with the bedwetting and that type of thing, knee and ankle pain, and immune issues. There's also the gluten and casein intolerance that when we have an issue down there, that working it out, getting adjusted, realigning it, restoring a proper motion in those joints can help the nervous system communicate as it should. And without that interference there, then a lot of times the issues go away.
Me first?
Yes.
Are you always first, Sid? So much happened since we can't miss any sessions because I fell down the steps. Mason got a oh no.
And here. With the hypervolt, slightly unpleasant.